Hello everyone, this is Angela here, and tonight I want to talk about the narcissistic personality disorder. And tonight's topic is going to be about narcissism, people pleasing, and basically dating and relationships. The reason why I'm making this video tonight is because a lot of people out here are struggling from narcissistic abuse because they got involved in relationships and they have weak boundaries, myself included, weak boundaries because of growing up as a scapegoated child in a narcissistic family, or for whatever reason, your boundaries are not strong enough to shield you from getting involved in a toxic relationship and becoming victimized. So with that said, I'm going to share my story and I'm going to talk about my online dating experience, which I talked about in a couple other videos. So I'm going to continue on and we're just going to talk about this. So, broke up with my ex back in September 2015. Last I heard from him was December. We never heard from him again. I just cut my losses, cut him off, moved on. Okay, but moving on doesn't mean that you're ready to dive right back into it right away and get all hot and heavy. The best advice that I can give to everybody when coming out of any relationship, especially a narcissistic romantic relationship, whether it's a marriage or something, or whatever, give yourself time to take care of yourself and nourish your own needs. Give yourself time to recover, to mourn the loss of the relationship, and to move on. There's nothing wrong with having that healing time and that personal time just to nourish your needs. Matter of fact, I think it's quite healthy. I know quite a few YouTubers on here I've seen have had problems, by watching their stories. I've heard, people are really struggling with this, and basically what it is it's a boundary issue. And you really got to hold firm to your standards and boundaries in order not to be victimized again by someone. Okay, and the one thing that I look at from my past mistakes, especially my mistake with my last ex, okay, I just looked at it as a learning lesson. I looked at it as a healing lesson. I looked at it as something positive. It was a bad thing that happened in my life, but something good came out of it. It made me a stronger person, a healthier person, and it helped me to move forward and to just let it go, because I understand what I was dealing with. And and it's okay. It's okay. It happens. I'm still alive. I got my health. I got my job. I got my family. I got so many things. I didn't get victimized of all my money, just a little teeny bit of money that I had to cut a loss, and that was great. And it really was great compared to some of the other people's stories that I hear, and I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad, and trust me, guys, anybody who's been robbed by a narcissist or taken advantage of sexually, you are not alone. I don't care if you're a guy or if you're a girl, it happens to the best of us. Okay, so I started to go online because I just wanted to go out and do things. I wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to meet people and just, enjoy life, right? It sounds pretty reasonable. But it's been quite difficult in finding somebody who is right for me. Okay, so I met this guy back in February, was it? And I think it was late February. if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure. So I started dating him, and I had told him that I'm not against the relationship, but I really would just like to take things slow and just go out and do things and have fun. And at first, this person was very nice. He's not a narcissist. Okay, he's not a narcissist, but he was really nice. He's got a well put together person, professional, and he seemed to have his life together. He's divorced, he's got kids, and he's responsible. So these are all really good attributes about him that I liked. And I enjoyed his company when being with him, but the problem was that this person was extremely needy, to the point where it wasn't a neediness to where it was like love bombing, so to say, but it was a neediness to where he needed affection and love and sex and all the good stuff that goes along with it. He definitely wants a committed relationship. I told him from the very beginning that, I'm not against this, but I wanted to take things slow and just court and get to know each other. And that's the way it should be in a relationship when you first meet somebody. I set the standards and I set the rules. I told this person that I was not ready to hang out at his house. And the reason for that is because if you go to his house, there's a good chance you're going to end up in bed with him. Okay? It's not being evil-minded. It's just stating a fact. And I did not want to put myself in an uncomfortable situation with somebody that I didn't know. To make long story short, explained all this to him, and at first he was quite offended, but he decided to hang in there, and he decided to continue dating me. Fine, no problem. Okay. So, so we had a really nice time. I went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Dutch country with him for the day. We went to the flower show. We went out to dinner. We did things. We spent, a good amount of time together these past 2 months, and we did some fun things. Okay? But then he started to get aggressive. And he started to get aggressive to the point where he started to cross the lines of the boundaries that I had set, where I told him that I simply was not ready to go on any weekend trips. I did not want to, I did not feel comfortable enough to introduce him to my family. I did not know this man's last name. I really don't know that much about him in that way. So he seemed to take it as a personal rejection by me not wanting to hang out at his house by myself, and by me not wanting to spend a weekend trip with him. So we got into this text message conversation. I wanted to share it with everybody because I wanted to demonstrate how the dynamics of not necessarily a narcissist, but an opportunist will go through, what they'll go through to manipulate and to try to get sex out of you. Okay? And let me tell you something. if you go to bed with somebody too soon, especially if you're a woman, you go to bed with somebody too soon, I can 99.9% of the time, that man will be zipping up his pants and be on his way. Okay? And poor you are left saying, what happened? He was so into me. He was so into me until you gave your all. That's why. So, okay, so I got into it with I don't want to share, and we did it by text, and I want to share with everyone how this dynamic works. Okay, so texts me Sunday, and he's saying, you know, it's typical stuff. How you doing? Good morning. What you doing? And he starts out by saying, I want to do something next weekend. So then I say, well, what did you have in mind? So then he says, something fun. So then I once again said, what do you have in mind? And he says, does it have to be a day trip, or can we do a weekend trip? So I said to him, well, a weekend trip will be nice once the weather gets warmer. It would be nice to get away. And he said, Atlantic City for the weekend? And I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I just think that we should wait a bit longer before we make any plans to go away. We're still getting to know each other. And then he says, we need to spend time together to get to know each other better. And I said, correct. He says, I want to spend time with you. And I said, when? And he said, we should go out this week and this weekend. So then I said, okay, what would you like to do? And he said, meet for dinner this week, spend the weekend together. And I'm like, and then he says, is there anything you would like to do? And then I said, well, I'm sure we'll think of something. What do you usually do in the summer? And he says, hit the shore as often as possible, meaning the New Jersey shore. And he says, well, that's something we both have in common. I said, well, that's something we both have in common. And he said, good, I think we have a lot in common. Then he says, I think spending the weekend in Atlantic City will be nice. We will really get to know each other. We can get a hotel room. That way we're not traveling back and forth on the same day. I want to spend time with you. So then I said, well, yes, but an overnight trip? And he says, I'm ready. Now, do you take notice to his response? I'm ready. Okay? Well, I'm not ready. But that's irrelevant. Let me just move on. So then I said, I'm not so sure just yet. And then he says, I want to move forward. I really like you. And I said, I like you too. And then I asked him, do you know my last name? And he said, I don't think I need it for the reservation. And then he said, then I said, true, but I make it a habit of wanting to know someone real well before I go away with them. Then he says, you know me. And then I said, well, yeah, but I don't even know your last name. Anyway, that's besides the point. Can't we just stick to dating and getting to know each other better without this pressure? And then he says, you once told me if you don't move forward, you die. I just want to continue to get to know you. So then I said, that's true. We are getting to know each other and we're having fun. I just think that neither one of us are ready for a weekend trip. We haven't dated that long, and we don't even know each other's last name. We know each other better than we did when we first met, but not long enough to take it to the next level. These things take time. So what's your hurry? And then he says, I'm not in a hurry. I'm just not stopping us from moving forward. So then I said, I'm not stopping us from moving forward either. I am stopping us from potentially making a mistake. And then he said, what mistake? Listen. So then I said, listen, we're getting off on the wrong foot. We can just take it slow. I'm not ready for an overnight trip yet. It's my decision, so take it or leave it. So his last message was, goodbye, Angie. And I said, okay, goodbye, good luck. So then I turned around and I slept on it and I said, you know what? I really need to just put him in his place and just give him a piece of my mind. So I thought, very politely, I will put him in his place. And this is what I said. And I said, hello, Bob. You took me by surprise last night, and I felt that it would be best to chill out and sleep on it before responding to you and saying what I'm about to say. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for taking me out to dinner and to Lancaster, PA. I really had a nice time in Lancaster, PA, and I felt like we were really getting closer. Sadly, all of that changed after our conversation last night. You feel that you are ready to take it to the next level and go on a weekend overnight trip. I explained that I am not yet ready to take it to that level because I don't know enough about you to feel comfortable enough to agree to such an arrangement. As I understand it, that is the reason why you have ended the relationship, simply because I did not agree to that arrangement. I am not accusing you of dishonorable intentions, but based on what has happened last night, you proved that your intentions were not only dishonorable, they were disrespectful to me. You want a relationship on your terms, without any regard to what this means to me. You want me to give my all to you when I told you that these things take time, and because I wouldn't cave, you killed it. You sabotaged your own future because you're allowing your needs to supersede sound judgment and reasoning. You're not my husband, and I certainly wouldn't call you my friend. Here's a thought for you. Would you want a man to treat your daughter like that? How would you like a man to make an ultimatum to your daughter and pressure her like that? You're too needy and too pushy. You think that love just appears simply because you feel it and simply because you want it. Is that what this is about? Sex is an expression of love. It's an element of love, but it is not love by itself. These things take time. Sex too soon complicates and destroys relationships because everything has been given away, absent what is most important, and what is most important is love. So with that said, I want you to know that you haven't a clue of what genuine love is because you have no respect for yourself or me to give either of us the chance to allow it to happen. It really is a shame that this turned so sour because you didn't get your way. So I wish you luck in finding what you want. But I warn you, be careful for what you wish for, because the next woman you get wrapped up in too soon could be your worst nightmare. I could call you many things, sir, but a gentleman is not an adjective that describes you. And so that was pretty much the end of it. And I haven't heard from him since. And a person like that who gets involved with somebody with weak boundaries, okay, a person like that is a prime candidate to get victimized by somebody who's borderline personality disorder. Somebody who's very, very clingy and needy because he's very clingy. And, it's like he didn't, the point I'm trying to make is this man did not live up to my standards. Okay? This is about my life. And getting sexual with somebody is a decision that is a mutual decision. It's not about having an ultimatum. Well, you don't want to give me what I want, so it's goodbye. Well, guess what? See ya! See ya! Because a person like that, okay? My love does not give, I don't give my love away so freely. Okay? Love is a very, very deep emotion, and sex is something that bonds you to a person. And I'm not about to get victimized again by somebody who is going to push me into something that I'm not ready for. I'm not against sex. I'm not against love. I don't have this impenetrable wall surrounded around me, but I'm not just going to give it away just because somebody wants it. I deserve better than that, and so do you. Basically what I'm saying here to everyone who's out here on the dating field, don't allow yourself to get hurt by giving in to somebody who's going to pressure you, whether they're a narcissist or they're just a plain opportunist. They ain't worth having. You see what happened? That man didn't get no pussy from me, so he decided that he was going to up and walk. Well, guess what? If he would have got the pussy, he would have up and walked anyway. And even if he didn't walk away, why would I want to be with a man that has no standards and no respect even for his own self? So that's just something to think about, everybody. And with that, that's all I'm going to say on the subject. Don't allow anybody to disrespect you. Stand up for your rights, stand up for your standards and your boundaries. Okay, with that said, have a great night.